ladies and gentlemen, to another part of Surrounded by Stupid. I'm your host, Ed Rhodes. Not really a host, I'm more like the idiot behind the mic and in front of the camera. I can't contain myself any longer. I have just got to throw this out there. I heard on the news again today about another idiot that's up in arms about guns. Now, the only problem I have with this is the idea that these idiots, they don't have a clue. They believe they've got it all figured out, and they don't. These are idiots that are usually liberals. They're born with a silver spoon in the rear end. They live in closed communities. They have private guards and things like this. Well, let me give you an idea of what he was talking about. Now I'm going to paraphrase what he said because I can't remember exactly how he said it, but I'm going to be very close, guaranteed. We don't live in the Wild Wild West anymore. We do not need to be carrying firearms everywhere we go. They're not necessary to live. We live in a civilized society, and we also have law enforcement. We have city police, county police, state police, CIA, FBI, and NSA. We do not need firearms. We need to take the firearms from the general population and just make them illegal. If nobody has firearms, then we will no longer have these crimes. All I can say is, my friend, you are the biggest idiot that I've heard in a long time. You're not just stupid. For this week, you are the king of stupid. One, getting on a radio show and letting people know how stupid you are, that's pathetic, really. So let's look at the facts here. Let's break it down step by step. I love doing this anyway. One, we live in a civilized society. Are you kidding? Really? We live in a civilized society? We have people killing each other day in and day out. We have people that torturing each other. You cannot turn on the news without hearing about how somebody was shot or stabbed, brutally murdered, beat to death, tortured, raped, molested. This seems to be all the media is for anymore. To talk about all the bad things that human beings are doing to each other. Overseas, we're killing each other over religion. Civilized? Come on. Human beings have never been civilized. We treat animals better than we do each other. We'll have pets. We'll pamper them. We'll buy them clothing. We'll buy them nice little collars. We'll make sure they've got all their shots. There's even dentists for vets. You can actually take an animal to a vet to have them groomed. They'll knock them out. They'll trim their toenails. They'll paint them. They'll frou-frou their hair. And if, heaven help us if it happens, but if it happens, your pet becomes ill and the veterinarian says there's really no chance, they're dying. Oh, we don't want Fifi to suffer. They'll give little Fifi a nice little shot, let her go to sleep and die quietly. We do not do this. We do not do this to ourselves. We don't allow this to happen in society at all. Check out Dr. Kevorkian. The man was helping people who were suffering, showing them how to go quietly. But no. We had to chastise him and throw him in prison. We have elderly. There's elderly that once they reach a certain point where they know their minds are starting to go, they say, hey, I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. Give me the shot. Let me go. No, we can't do that. There's people that are suffering with cancers, pain, eating them up every single day. Can they tell the doctor, hey, give me the shot, I'm done. I cannot do this. The doctor will tell you, you've got 6 months to live, but I'm not going to give you the shot to kill you. Civilized. Good Lord Almighty. I cannot believe that an idiot like you would use that term. Lord have mercy. Civilized. Wow. Okay, another part, the whole law enforcement. Okay, first of all, I respect law enforcement. They do a whole lot for very little. Now, I know we make fun of the police officers and the coffee and the donuts, and we see them on the side of the highway, you know, checking out the computer or the radar gun. We make fun of them, but I'll tell you, these people are making their $30,000 and $40,000 a year. They're working for retirement. That's all. They've got a good retirement. But their medical benefits and all this stuff while they're on the force isn't all that great. The pay they're getting for what they do, putting their lives on the line for idiots like us? No. They try to save people, try to keep people safe. I respect the police officers, I really do. But I can honestly tell you, we have the city police, state police, we have the county police and all this, and all this law enforcement out there. But I'll tell you what, here's what you need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, any of you that's watching me, test this theory and get an idea just generally how stupid this guy was. Look online, look it up yourselves, find out all the statistics about every rape, every murder, every home invasion, every holdup, every robbery, jewelry store or otherwise. Just look them up. And check out the statistic on that of how many times there was a police officer standing right there to arrest the perpetrator immediately thereafter. Matter of fact, look up how many crimes, the statistics on how many crimes are committed and how many of them actually are solved. Now, this is not saying something against the police departments and the detectives and all these. These fine men and women are doing what they can. But in a lot of cases, their hands are tied. They have to have evidence. And sometimes, if you're not right there, you don't know the true story. You don't know exactly what was going on. But I can safely say, and I'm just going to throw this out there, let's just say 1,000,000 to 1 chance that if there's a crime going on, there's a police officer standing right there to arrest the perpetrator right after the fact. Like I said, look it up. But this idiot wants you to think that if a crime is going down, the police are right there. The police will solve all your problems. No. That's not the way it happens. If somebody breaks into my house, I'm gone. Let's say I'm at work or whatever. Somebody breaks into my house and robs me. First of all, I get home. My stuff's missing. My front door's kicked in. I call the police. The police show up, they take a statement. Yeah, I went to work at this time, I got home at this time. It's pretty much the only evidence they got, except the place is a wreck. Most of the time in home invasions, they're not going to come out and take fingerprints. That CIA or CIS stuff doesn't apply. Only for murders. So your stuff is gone. So the police come in and they do the best they can. They take a report and they turn it into your insurance company. Now, do you think the perpetrator's going to get caught? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on if they were passing through or not. The police were not there at that moment. You see? So the law enforcement, that whole law enforcement thing does not hold water. Let me tell you what does hold water. I'm sitting here in my living room and my front glasses broke out. And I hear somebody coming through the broken glass through my house. I reach over and I grab my firearm and I plug them. And they're dead right there in my kitchen. And I call the police and say, hey, I had 2 people break into my house and I plugged them both. They're dead right here. I'm waiting for you. That, the crime is solved, ladies and gentlemen. And I know there's some of you saying, ooh, Would you really do that? Yes, I would. Because I have a right to protect myself, my home, my personal property, my family. Hey, and the crime is solved. It's an open and shut case. The police don't have a file somewhere stuck in a file cabinet that has this dead file in it. If somebody was to break into here and kill me, that may go on forever. Nobody knows who did it. Oh, Lord, it's an unsolved crime. But if I have a firearm right there and I plug them when they come in the door, guess what? That one is already solved before I ever die. So the idiot out there that says we don't, the only truthful thing they said is we don't live in the Wild Wild West. At least in the Wild Wild West, if you had firearms, if everybody carried firearms, you didn't have this problem. Matter of fact, in the Wild Wild West, if you had somebody stealing your cattle, stealing your horses, shooting up somebody, I think they even took it as cheating at cards and some of that stuff, they would hang your butt. And they did it publicly. That usually kind of deterred things. Back in I forget what century it was, but back in the pirate days, you had some of these coves with they put up a big board that said pirate, and all that be out there is what's left of them and the birds picking the meat off the bones. That was kind of a deterrent. Pirates start pulling there. They say, let's turn around and go back. Nowadays, what do we have? We've got a bunch of liberals saying, oh, well, killing just isn't right no matter what. I'll tell you, I got to tell you a story. A long time ago, met up with this guy. It was at a party. It was one of those where people just drinking and having a good time and conversing. And this guy started talking. He was making me sick with this this fighting and stuff. There's no reason to go to war, that violence is never the answer, and he just kept going through this whole spiel. Finally, I had all I could handle. I just reached up and slapped him. Pow! He backs up, blinks a few times. He looks at me, he says, why'd you do that? And I said, I just felt like it. He said, well, don't do it anymore. So he kept going, and the conversation kept going, and of course I had friends that were just they were kind of egging him on. I'm not sure if they knew what I was doing, but they were egging him on because we're all kind of like-minded, and he was the only outcast in this. But the violence, if people just treated everybody and such, if we would just turn the other cheek. About that time I popped him again. He yelled at me for a minute or two, and he finally decided that it wasn't worth yelling at me anymore, because I just told him that I'm sorry. He went back into his conversation. He kept on talking, and finally, what was he saying? He said, "Oh, there is no reason for war. That there is absolutely. He has never seen any reason at all for war." And I just reached out and pop again. By this time, he's getting red across the face. Pop! I popped him again. This time he come back. He drew up, and I said, wait a minute. Whoa. You cannot strike me. You cannot hit me. He goes, why not? And I said, you don't believe in violence. Violence never solves anything. And he says, but you keep hitting me. And I said, you do not believe in violence. I do. I believe that if somebody hits me, I'm going to hit them back. You, on the other hand, sit there and preach that you don't believe in violence of any kind for any reason. Now you're drawing up on me like you want to hit me. You can't. Stick to your belief. He shook it off. Later on, he come back, and he never did apologize for what he was saying. I apologized to him for hitting him, but I told him, I said, I'm trying to prove a point, that if you have a belief, stick to it. There is no reason to break your belief. There is no reason at all to break your belief. If you believe that violence should not be done, that's fine. You stick to that. Don't join the military because it is violent. Don't become a boxer. Don't become a wrestler. Now, we're not even going to go into that. Just don't. Stick to your belief. Do not ever go out in public and preach that and then turn just the opposite, because you'll prove yourself wrong. Those people who do not believe in guns, those people that do not like guns, if any of them was ever caught into a situation of rape, holdup, or anything like that, it slips my mind, the statistic, armed robberies, such as somebody walks up to you on the street, pulls a pistol or a knife out. I'm thinking, not most of them, I'm thinking there was quite a number. I'm thinking it was like 20 or 30% of those cases end in violence anyway. They either stab you or shoot you or hit you anyway. So it doesn't matter. Most robberies, when it comes to stores, like convenience stores and things like that, those usually don't end well at all. Home invasion. Again, the statistics don't. It doesn't bode well. And you do have a right. You have a right in this country to protect yourself, your property, your home, your family. And trust me, my family is probably the most important thing in my life. And I will protect my family at all cost. The idiot that, all guns should be outlawed. If your wife or girlfriend is in your home and you're out, gone or something, somebody breaks in and rapes her. Now think about this. If you had a firearm and she could have used it, then there was no harm done. Correct? But now, you're the one who is at fault because she didn't have a firearm. She had no way of protecting herself. And, truthfully, your relationship probably isn't going to last anyway because of that. But I'm just saying that you have a right to protect yourself, and if you choose to be the victim, then you will be the victim. Plain and simple. But a lot of these victims, and it's funny how a lot of these people, once they become a victim, all of a sudden they go overboard in the opposite direction. They're the ones that put cameras up around their houses. They got the monitoring systems. They've got firearms all over the place. They learn how to use knives. They go take a martial arts course. It's all the same thing. Tools are tools are tools. It doesn't matter how you use them. There was a radio show I was listening to a long time ago where this liberal talk show host was discussing the oh my God, this guy was against firearms. He was talking about out in California where this kid was strung out on cat, and that he had the mental faculties enough to be able to break into his father's gun cabinet, take out a chrome-plated .22, load the clip, and put the clip into the firearm, go into the kitchen and kill his stepmother. Unloaded the gun in the stepmother. I can't remember if he put the gun back or not, but I do remember that he cleaned up the mess, put her in a rug, rolled her up, stuck her in the trunk of the car, drove off to someplace, highway or interstate, threw her over a guardrail, and then went back to the house and pretended it never happened. Now, he had this. Now, I'm sure that in the courtroom, for his defense, they were screaming, oh, well, he was strung out on cat. He can't be held responsible. Oh, yes, he can. If he can think of all that, the cleaning up the mess, all of it, he was all there enough. He's all there enough to sit in the chair. But this liberal talk show host, he claims that if that pistol was not in that home, that woman would still be alive. Again, this idiot's one of those that's trying to read minds or see the future. He can't. I contend, no, he's wrong. Because it wouldn't matter. If this kid had decided to kill his stepmother, he was going to kill her. Whether there was a firearm in the house or not. I guarantee there were steak knives in the house. There were skewers in the house. There was a lamp in the house. Outside, there may have been a brick, a tire iron, something. I could use this right here. Smash somebody's skull in. I could use this jar of, well, we're not going to talk about that. But I could use that jar to kill somebody. I could use this. I could use this. I could use that computer to kill somebody. I can use my bare hands to kill somebody. So it doesn't matter. A tool is a tool is a tool. Whether it's a firearm, a knife, a gun, or a pencil. You know, I can stab you just as fast with a pencil as I can a knife. And yet, we don't hear about that problem. Well, this liberal talk show host, he took a caller, and this caller was from New Jersey. And the gentleman from New Jersey said, yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. Said, you know, and I think not only do we have a gun problem in this country, but we have a bowling ball problem in this country too. There was a guy right here in New Jersey. He come in drunk one night, and apparently he beats on his wife all the time. And well, that night I guess he didn't beat on her, but he passed out on the couch. Well, she went to the closet and got his bowling ball and dropped it on his head 3 times and killed him. So we got a bowling ball problem. They need to take those away from people too. This talk show host says, I know you're trying to make a point, but what is it? That's a perfect example at people that have this pinprick view of the world. They only see things their way. That's it. They're not going to listen to anybody else. They don't care about common sense. They don't. They don't want to hear logic. All they want is their own view to be out there. So, what's your point? Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to think about what we're doing. If we don't, we're going to get really stupid and we're going to start doing crap that we really don't want to do. If you outlaw firearms, people are going to start taking out knives. Only the outlaws are going to have the firearms. Thus far, there are very few places I know of that it's illegal to carry a knife. I carry a knife everywhere I go. Matter of fact, I carry 2. I also carry firearm most of the places I go. Now, there are places you're not allowed to carry a firearm. I will not carry a firearm because it's illegal. But I will say this. Once you start tampering with the Constitution is nothing more than a contract between the government and us, the civilians. And at some point, if you start tampering with that contract, you make the whole thing null and void. I mean, all you have to do is look at history and see what the direction is we're traveling in. All it's going to take is if they pass legislation that firearms are illegal. If they pass that sort of legislation, then, well, that's constitutional right. Well, so is freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of congregation, all the freedoms that you got in this country, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They can take that away just as fast as they take away firearms. I mean, think about it this way. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And yet, there are places that are trying to pass laws on how much you can drink of soda pop at a restaurant. If they pass legislation telling you what you can drink, how much you can drink, it's only a matter of time before they start passing legislation of what you can eat. I'm saying, leave firearms alone. Just leave it alone. It's constitutional. Leave it alone. Stop picking at. We have enough trouble with our government picking at the Constitution. We don't need these little groups of idiots. You know, the most dangerous people on the planet, the most dangerous force on the planet are large groups of stupid people with a purpose. You start tampering with it, we're going to be in trouble. We're already in trouble. Think of it this way. The last statistic I heard, 72% of Americans did not want Obamacare. If 72% of people did not want Obamacare, why is it a law? It's because our representatives did not represent us. If our representatives are not representing us, who are they representing? Well, I can tell you, they already think they're better than us. They think they're smarter than us. They're like the adult and we're the little 4-year-olds. They're just telling us we're stupid. We don't know anything. And only they. Even Obama said it. You don't know politics. We know politics. You don't know politics. The games that have to go on up here. That's his way of saying you're stupid. You're stupid. You don't know. We're the intelligent ones. That's why we're up here. You voted for us to control your life. No, we voted for you to represent us. Now, 72% said they didn't want Obamacare. Now it's a law. They've got computers that are crashing. They can't seem to get it up and going. The people that are signing up with this is finding out that it's more expensive than what they had thought it was supposed to be. It wasn't what they were promised. And yet, Congress and Senate passed it anyway. Well, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the reasons why we have a right to bear arms. It's not just to protect ourselves. It's also to protect our cities, our states, from our own government in the eventuality that our government fails. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you historically, every single government in the world throughout history has failed, and they have all failed for the same reason. When the government becomes top-heavy and they believe themselves above the people, and they tax people not just to death, but right into the ground, that's when people start standing up. They say, no, I've had enough. I'm not going to do this. And then war's going to break out. The government gets overthrown. And I pity the day this happens. But I can definitely see it happening. And what's funny is none of the politicians up there, apparently they've never picked up a history book because they're all sitting around there thinking they're completely above all that, above the law, that it'll never happen. When it happens and people are hanging them in the streets, they're going to be screaming. And you've seen it in movies. It's funny because you see these guys in the movies screaming, but I'm a congressman. You can't do this. Really? Leave the Constitution alone. Leave firearms alone. And above all, don't sit out there or do this crap that's stupid. Especially if I'm around, because I'll call you on it. I'll call you on it in a heartbeat. Speaking of calling you on it. Oh. Jessica Barnes. Yes, I did get your email. Jessica, I really, really, really wish you had not sent this. I am certainly glad that you did send this to me, but I think you're going to... Yeah. And let me apologize beforehand for what I'm going to say. What you want me to do now, I've got your email right here. I've had to read it 2 or 3 times because it is hilarious. You're wanting me to say something about your ex-husband being stupid. You also want me to say something about your sister-in-law, your new sister-in-law, that she's stupid. Now, apparently, your ex-husband ordered by the court to pay child support does pay the child support he is supposed to pay. But you want me to say he's stupid because when you tell him that kids need clothes for school, which I don't understand, one's 5, the other is 2. The 2-year-old's not going to school, so child. And even then, when does a 5-year-old go to school? But needing new clothes, so on and so forth. That's neither here nor there. But school functions, things like this, child needs, so on. But he won't give you the money for this. And so you're wanting money from the ex-husband more than what he's supposed to be paying in child support. Your ex-husband is a supervisor in a sheet metal company, and your new husband is a business owner. What you're wanting is advice on how to clear up, get your sister-in-law to more or less accept you. Your sister-in-law, I guess, took you aside after the wedding and told you that she did not approve of the wedding, that you were a gold digger, and that you were nothing more than a charity case. That that her brother just, adores the underdog, to say, I guess. I'm sorry. I think you told on yourself with everything I have just read in this email. It was a long one, longest one to date. I have to give you that. Okay, let's just get down to it. Okay. First of all, I do not believe that your ex-husband is stupid. I believe he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Sounds like he's a good father, and he's doing what he is supposed to do to take care of his children. I believe that your new husband is probably a good man, and he has accepted you and your children. I have to wonder about the situation behind that, because just from what you were telling me and so on and so forth in this, I'll swear I get this feeling, because you didn't say that it was your ex-husband's fault you got divorced. And most women don't claim that it's their fault. So I can only assume that you cheated on your husband. You either got caught or you just decided to leave. And when you did, you took the 2 children. The whole stay-at-home mom thing. Now, I'm not going to say anything about stay-at-home moms, other than the fact that in your case, I think you were a stay-at-home mom with the first guy, but then the second guy comes along, he's got more money, so I think you married him for the money. So you are a gold digger. And as for a charity case, I believe the sister-in-law, I'd have to take her side of it, because why else would the sister of the man you're marrying take you aside and say that her brother likes underdogs and charity cases and she thinks you're a gold digger? I also noticed that in here you didn't say anything about a prenup. I'm going to assume there wasn't one. And I'm also going to assume that when the next guy comes along, you will leave this guy to go to the other one, and you will make sure that you get a portion of whatever business he has. I'm positive of that. Yes, ma'am, I do believe you're a gold digger. The charity case, I'm going to say, yeah, I think you figured out. Now, remember the 5 and the 2-year-old, and you're 23, mathematically that means that you had the first one around 18 years old. I am going to say that you and the first husband was one of those have-to things, that you had to get married, and you just, you got married because you got pregnant, but then you got a second kid out of it. Now you got him stuck for child support, 2 kids till they're 18, and I'm just going to throw this out there. I would say in the first year, within the first year of your marriage, you're going to get pregnant again. I can see that happening. So let me just break it down, because this really hurts my head, that somebody as stupid as you would actually send me an email. Again, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. if your ex-husband is paying what the court said to pay, and you're married to a guy, I'm going to say, has means, I won't say wealthy or rich because you didn't claim that. You just said he owns his own business. A good man is not going to care whether your children are by another man or not. He's not going to let them suffer through. But you did use the word suffer with the ex-wife, that the children suffer because of the divorce. Yet, at no point did you mention yourself going out and getting a job to help support your children. Let me show you this. The ex-husband is supporting your children. The new husband is supporting your children. The grandparents are supporting the children. The new husband, if his parents are still alive, they're going to support your children. You're the only one in that circle of influence are not supporting those children. Your butt is sitting at home, and when both of them are in school, they're going to be in for 8 or 9 hours, and you're going to be a stay-at-home mom. That crap don't fly anymore. It almost takes 2 incomes these days to make a household work. And then, of course, if your husband has means, why can't you show that you're the woman of the house? Get a job, help support. Do you cook, clean, take care of the kids? Do you cut the lawn while he's at work? Or does he have to cut the lawn, clean the house, do the laundry and all this? He's got to supply you with a house, a vehicle and all this? God. Wow. I am certainly glad that you did send this. I hate that you sent it. But I am certainly glad you sent it because this just shows the kind of ignorance that is out there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're still watching this, if you held on this long, I'm telling you, these kind of people exist. She wants me to dog her ex-husband and her sister-in-law, and she's the one who sits at home eating candy, watching soap operas, wanting the ex-husband to support her and her husband to support her. Wow. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got to end this. We're just, actually, we're over past time. I'm trying to get the time situated here, but we're getting there. I do appreciate the emails. I do appreciate all the input that I'm getting. All the input I'm getting, I've gotten a lot of good ideas, a lot of show ideas. People are writing me about. I've been writing them down. Eventually, I will get to all of them. Yes, there's been several of you. I couldn't name all of you. I don't have my list, but I've got like 7 or 8 different people that want me to do a thing on McDonald's. Oh God, yes. I'm still doing research on that. I will do a McDonald's show. Walmart, I did cover the shoppers. Eventually, I'm going to have to do a second part of that. I will do one on Walmart itself. I need to revisit parking lots. All I can say is thank you very much. I mean, I understand I'm not the most popular show out there, but you know, I've got some people, I got some really nice people out there that send me the emails and stuff and talk to me, and they give me a lot of insight. So bear with me. If you got ideas, throw them out there, send them to me, email me. I love the emails. I try to read every single one of them. And you hang with me, I'll hang with you. And just kind of remember this. Those of us with any intelligence all need to really stick together because we're it. We are the last threshold. If we allow the stupid to take over, then we're all done. Thank you very much. Have a great evening and God bless.